Hello and welcome to part 29 of my All Quests, All Endings Elden Ring guide. As you can see, we're at Volacano Manor. We've just dealt with Rykard. We're going to just nip back to Murkwater Cave, as I said at the end of my last video, and we're going to deal with kind of final patches fight. To trigger the fight, you need to open the chest, and he'll be very cross with you for taking his glass shard. He'll jump down and fight you, and this is where you'll end up getting his armour set and bell bearing at the end. Not sure if there's any alternative ending to patches there, but I always find him quite an annoying character, so I'm not too bothered. Once we've dealt with that, we're going to go down to the underground roadside, and we're going to wrap up the Frenzied Flame side of things. So at the subterranean shunning grounds, underground roadside, activate the summoning pool. You can deal with those guys, or you can just run past them. We just need to get into the sewers and unlock a couple of shortcuts. So just follow me into that pipe there. If they follow you, which they might, then just deal with them. Or run away. It's pretty much up to you. Sometimes it's easier to deal with them in the open space at the start or sneak past them. Both are options. Once you've dropped down there, make your way this way through the gate. Deal with these. There's a stone sword key coming up for you to grab. Make your way through this gate here. Deal with these weird slug thingamajiggeries. And up here, quite a few slug thingies to deal with there. Bit of a labyrinth, this area, but eventually, if you just work your way through, that's where we've already... No, that's not where we've been. Just grabbing a few items along the way, so we should end up here. This is the other side of that big gate at the underground roadside. So they've got 2 or 3 fell omens to deal with here. So apply any buffs you want to use, and then just deal with him however you see fit. Gives you a somber smithing stone 8, I think, there. Those dealt with. There is one more guy here, but we're going to open the shortcut first. That's critical. And then we're going to... The one flasks here. I think that was the issue, but it doesn't matter. We've opened the shortcut, so it won't take 2 minutes to get there. So again, we're going to head out of here. Deal with him. Deal with him. And this is where we just were. This is the shortcut we've opened. Obviously, we want our runes back there. And there's a somber smithing stone to grab as well there. Make sure we get the runes first, that's critical. Quite persistent, these fell omens are. They'll follow you quite a long way. That's that one dealt with. Got one more to deal with, but it shouldn't be a problem. So we've got the runes, we've just got one more to deal with. And we've got the somber smithing stone. So now we're going to open these doors here. Make your way down here. There's a couple of items to grab, or at least one anyway. A Grace Mimic, always useful. Then head back up to the top, and you need to drop off very carefully here to the next level. Get yourself a somber smithing stone 6. Grab yourself that nice piece of string there, and then make your way down this corridor here. And we're going to open up another shortcut. So warming stones. Fight your way through here or run past, it's up to you. Deal with that flower thingamajiggery. There, grab that. Don't go down the ladder, head into here. It's worth throwing a bit of light on the subject. Look out for the death blight from these basilisks. I'm using Law of Regression to clear that. If you've been following the guide, you should have Law of Regression by now. It's one of the few things I know does actually clear Deathblight. So we've got another fell omen to deal with here. We're going to just give ourselves some madness build up there so we can get that Black Dumpling Helm activated. A couple of buffs. Lots of unendurable frenzy, and that's him dealt with. Grab yourself a gold centipede and an omen bairn. Not quite sure what you use that for, but that will allow you to run up here, open these doors, and that's the next shortcut open. So we may as well rest at the Grace, and we're going to head out through the shortcut we've just opened. Deal with the imp guys if you want to. You can't just run past, of course, but up this pipe, round here, go right to the top of this pipe. Obviously, if you've got a ranged attack, you can deal with those before you drop down. Make your way across here, deal with the imp that tries to ambush you, then you need to jump down that hole. When you do, follow it this way around. Got yourself a golden rune, down here, fight that. And turn left here, drop down, fight him, grab a smithing stone, open the door, deal with him, then down this way, down this way. And that's the ladder we need. You know you're in the right place because there's a few of those warrior pot people around to deal with. And a lift in a cage. Jump in the lift. Follow it down, grab the Grace. And this is where we're going to fight Moog, Lord of Blood's twin brother. So applying a buff here. Might be one to get your Mimic out for if you've got it. As you should have by now, but we're going to fight Moog the Omen here. This one didn't go so well, so I left it on 4 times speed. I really needed that Mimic in there to take some of the aggro. And also, he's using a lot of Frenzied Flame there, but he's quite strong to flame, so I recommend some cold or frost damage instead. You'll find it's much more effective. So we've got the Mimic summoned now, we've got healed up, we've got some buffs applied. We're just going to let him take the aggro for a second while we grab our runes. Worth it for over 1 million. And we're going to drink that. And again, it's not really doing anything like the sort of damage we're used to getting from Unendurable Frenzy. I did 2,000 damage there for quite a consistent burst. So we're going to go for the Dark Moon Greatsword instead. We're doing frost damage now. Should really be adding the Jellyfish Great Shield to this setup as well. Already he's got a stance break. But we're just going to keep laying the damage on. We're now doing 1,000 a hit. That's working much better. So if you are struggling to damage a boss, try a different damage type. You might find it's the biggest contributing factor. A couple more hits. And stance break, so we'll run in and we'll give him a critical to finish. So, Moog the Omen down. Get you a Blood Flame Talons incantation. And we're going to get a Grace now, and we're going to speak to Melina. She'll be very unhappy. She's really quite desperate now that you don't go and embrace the Frenzied Flame. We're not going to do it, but we're going to set everything up so that when we come to the end, we can choose it as an ending later. Don't forget to enjoy all that wonderful Elden Ring lore. Grab yourself an Erd Tree Favour +1. And then at this point, we're going to try one of the most annoying parkour sections in the game. This parkour section is really annoying. So I recommend farm some runes until you can use them all up buying a level or something, and go into it so that you don't need to recover your runes, because if you don't like Elden Ring parkour, it's going to take you a couple of goes. You can feel free to skip forward 4 minutes at this point if you want to skip to the successful run. When you're doing this area, you'll often find tents with items hidden inside which you can't destroy. What you need to do is draw the enemies that do the Frenzied Flame thing towards the tent, and their attack can destroy the tents, freeing up the items. To make the parkour easier, I'm going to be using the Hand of Melania, which, if you've already done New Game, you've probably got. Somebody may have dropped it to you, but if you're following this guide and you're on New Game, you won't have the item yet. You get it after you've defeated Melania at the base of the Halig Tree. You don't need it to do this area, but it does make it a little bit easier. That's an Eye of Yellow. Not quite sure what that does. Another item to look out for down here is a fingerprint shield. Probably the best shield in the game if you've got the strength to wield it. There's also, I believe, an armor set somewhere down here. I'm not going to kill him because I quite like his music, it's quite cool. So basically this is how to use the Hand of Melania to parkour down these gravestones. It takes a bit of getting the hang of, and there's some cases where it's not actually very useful and it can actually hinder you trying to use it, but that's got Inescapable Frenzy, a very good incantation. Basically, if you can pull it off, you'll grab an enemy and hold them still while you, that's a fingerprint shield, while you deal them Frenzied Flame damage. If you can pull it off in PvE, that's pretty cool, but you've got to get the timing right. These first bits on the beams are fairly straightforward. Just line yourself up, and then when you get to the gravestones, it tends to be easiest to drop off there, or you can jump straight across from the beam. That's how not to use the Hand of Melania. And again, it can be quite annoying trying to get hold of your runes here, so I recommend entering this area without the need to look after your runes. Really, it's much better if you can try and do it, accepting that if you lose your runes, you'll lose your runes. That's why we did that little bit of rune farming at the start. With the Hand of Melania, once you get the hang of the angle and the distance it goes, it tends to be a much more linear way of getting between 2 points than trying to jump or walk off. If you do have to make a big jump and you don't want to fall foul of pressing the B button to run and then jumping back off a platform, press A to jump straight up in the air, then hold down the B button so when you land, you're already holding it down, and that will allow you to make a running jump without doing that little skip backwards, which can send you plummeting to your death, like that. Don't know if there's any other items which have got a similar effect to the Hand of Melania. It's possibly one of the torch items. And again, if you do find you haven't got the Hand of Melania, there's just a few areas where you're going to have a little more difficulty, but it's not too hard. It's just a matter of generally making small jumps. So this is a good example of using the Hand of Melania. Just using the skill in a straight line. It works great if you get into a corner. That one's just a normal jump there. Now here we need to use the Hand of Melania at kind of an angle. And if you get the angle just right, it'll take you to the right place. Then we can do the same again. Land underneath that one that we were just on. Drop down and grab probably 0 runes because you're not earning any runes here. Then we're going to go there. Drop down onto the next gravestone. Jumping down carefully. Not quite there, but they're very close now though. So there's another one of those tents there, so we're going to get the guy to open it up for us. Just give him a little tap. And then step back. Try and lure him over, and he should try and burn you alive with his Frenzied Flame, but you need to get him to hit the tent there. Once that's dealt with, you can grab yourself the note on Miquella's needle, and this will tell you how to basically get rid of the Frenzied Flame if you embrace the 3 fingers, but then you change your mind and decide you want a different ending. This is how you can do it. So you've got 2 choices either. You either save your game and do the other endings first, and then get the Frenzied Flame ending last by coming back here to do that bit, or you do it the other way around and you use the Miquella's needle to free yourself of that. And that's all from completing Millicent's quest. And again, you've got Melanie here desperately trying to convince you not to embrace the Frenzied Flame. We're not going to do it now. We're just going to get ourselves ready. So if we decide we want the Frenzied Flame ending, all we need to do is come back to this point, this side of Grace, take off all your equipment and head through this door. After have removed all items of armour and weapons and everything, and then you'll get the Frenzied Flame. So that'll do for this episode. That's a Frenzied Flame finish. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you found this series. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.